Artemi Panarin didn't grow up chasing NHL glory. He grew up chasing warmth. In Corkino, a frozen mining town buried in Russia's Ural Mountains, there were no rinks with polished ice, no cameras, and no dreams of pro stardom. Just grit, cold air, and survival. But from those shadows rose one of the most electrifying players hockey has ever seen. What Panarin lacked in resources, he made up for in fight. And that fight would help him overcome the odds, transcending from poverty and doubt to the pinnacle of professional hockey. This is the incredible story of how a dirt-poor kid became an NHL superstar. As if Artemi Panarin's life in Corkino wasn't hard enough, his parents split up just 3 months after he was born, leading him to be adopted by his grandparents, Vladimir and Nina. Vladimir had dreamt of becoming a hockey player himself, but dreams like that are rarely realized in the struggling town of Corkino. Nevertheless, Vladimir saw Artemi as an opportunity, vowing to do everything in his power to make his own dream his grandson's reality. Oversized skates and patchwork equipment were sourced from local rinks' discard pile, and a young Panarin was off and running. His shoddy skates were actually so large that he needed to wear his sneakers inside them to make them fit. They did the job though, and by the age of 8, Artemi was training 6 days a week at Tractor Ice Hockey School in the nearby city of Chelyabinsk. Unfortunately, a harsh reality struck when he turned 13. Despite all the hard work, the kid from Corkino was cut by Chelyabinsk's top junior club. That could have been the end of the road, but instead, it became a turning point. Very few sporting stories are free of some form of adversity, and this was Panarin's first true test. Thankfully, he did not give in to his urges to give up, instead packing his bags and heading off to boarding school in Moscow. As sliding doors moments go, this was a huge one for Artemi. Instead of retreating to life in Corkino and following in the footsteps of his grandfather, he found himself being furnished with brand new equipment at boarding school. Such was the improvement that he could feel the puck for the first time in his life. He once even said, "I didn't know I wasn't really feeling the puck before. The old gloves with the leather boot were really thick. I couldn't feel the stick in my hands." All of a sudden, a fresh wave of opportunity had arrived. The years of perseverance with dodgy gear had taught him the fundamentals and instilled a ferocious work ethic into Artemi. And now that he was fully kitted out for success, it was like he was playing a completely different sport. He embraced the opportunity and flourished on the ice. Despite being considered undersized for the sport, he made a name for himself with his creativity and flair. That talent would soon earn him his first shot at the pro level. By the time he was 17 years old, he was ready to make his KHL debut, having been picked up by HC Vityaz. Although he struggled to establish himself as a legitimate contributor at first, not helped by his wiry frame, a breakthrough moment in 2011 brought the spotlight firmly in his direction, where it would stay for a long time. And it all happened on the international stage. As part of the Russian team at the 2011 World Junior Championship, Panarin wasn't a name that many people were aware of. However, when the team's top forward suffered an injury, up stepped Panarin. He entered the game with Russia trailing by 3-0, with a pro-Canada crowd relishing in their team's success. But then, the newcomer Panarin lit the lamp to make it 3-1. Before you knew it, the scores were tied, setting up the ultimate fairy tale ending when young Artemi Panarin tucked in the game winner. From that point forward, Panarin was no longer overlooked. That was the moment Artemi Panarin's life changed for good. He was no longer an overlooked kid from Corkino. He was a man in demand. He became a far more established player in the KHL, culminating in a 2014-15 season in which he played a significant role in SKA St. Petersburg's championship run, earning KHL first-team All-Star recognition for his efforts. More significantly though, for the first time in his career, NHL teams had come knocking. And one of those teams was ready to take a gamble that would pay off in a big way. The Chicago Blackhawks were the team to nab the exciting young Russian, inking him to a 2-year entry-level deal. which instantly proved to be well worth the investment. Lining up next to Patrick Kane, Panarin was electric as a rookie, netting 30 goals and 77 points, making him an easy pick for the Calder Trophy as the league's best rookie. His flair was on full display early and often, dazzling with cross-ice dishes, fearless zone entries, and showcasing a sixth sense for open space. However, despite delivering back-to-back 70-point seasons and helping the Blackhawks reach the playoffs in both, Artemi was traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets ahead of the 2017-18 season. It was a move that stunned the hockey world, and one that the Blackhawks came to regret. This was his chance to prove he could carry a team, not just complement one. They thought they were getting a game breaker, and Panarin proved to be exactly that. He thrived as the main man, shattering franchise records with 87 points and 59 assists in 2018-19, and making every Blue Jackets game a thrill to watch. Things were then taken to the next level when Panarin helped Columbus defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the 2018-19 playoffs. This was the Blue Jackets' first playoff series win in a decade, securing Panarin's spot as a fan favorite. Unfortunately for those fans, that playoff journey finished in the second round, as did Panarin's time as a Blue Jacket. Having played out his 2-year contract in Columbus, Panarin had risen so highly through the ranks that he could fulfill his ambition of playing under the brightest lights of the sport. He was in such high demand that he could essentially choose his next destination. And with this luxury, he, of course, chose New York. Big stage, big expectations, and Panarin didn't disappoint. In July 2019, he signed an $81.5 million deal with the New York Rangers, becoming the latest big-ticket item to enter the biggest sports market of them all. Unlike many of the big names that came before him, though, Panarin lived up to his lofty expectations. In his first 43 games as a Ranger, he hit 60 points, edging out even Wayne Gretzky for the best start in team history. Then, in 2020, he put together one of the most dominant stretches New York has ever seen, becoming the first Ranger to post 6 3-point games in a 9-game span. He finished that season with a career-high 95 points and placed third in Hart Memorial Trophy voting. Much to the joy of Rangers fans, he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down since. In 2022, Panarin became the 5th fastest active player to hit the 600-point mark, before racing to 700 in December of 2023. That 2023-24 season, Artemi's 5th year in New York, turned out to be his best, with him contributing a whopping 120 points, 49 goals, and 71 assists, all career highs. In doing so, he led the Rangers to a 55-win season, their best ever in franchise history. Unfortunately, a dream trip to the Stanley Cup was denied, as they fell to the Florida Panthers in the conference finals. Still, one box remains unchecked. Now 33, Panarin is still chasing the one thing missing from his incredible resume: a Stanley Cup. Whether he lifts that trophy or not, his journey from a cold mining town in Russia to the bright lights of Madison Square Garden is already one of hockey's most inspiring underdog stories. But what do you think? Can Artemi Panarin finish the job and bring a title to New York? Or has his window already closed? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of the NHL's most unlikely legends.